Welcome to Sneakers and Strategies, the podcast where high-level marketing throws on a fresh pair of kicks and hits the streets. Host Nick Kastner will help you find practical, actionable marketing insights that move with you. In Season 3, Nick's switching gears and going all in on Agile marketing. If you're still clinging to rigid plans and red tape, this season's your wake-up call. It's time to move fast, break patterns, and actually get done.
All right, this is Sneakers and Strategies. I'm Nick, and this season we're doing marketing the Agile way, fast, focused, and built to flex. Today, we've hit the final value of the Agile Marketing Manifesto, and it's the one that separates real Agile marketers from the rigid ones. And that value is responding to change over following a plan. So let's make that simple. If your marketing plan can't take a punch, it's useless. So we're going to break it down. So since I graduated college almost 25 years ago, I've known nothing but the marketing plan. I remember the very first marketing plan I built for my intro to marketing class on Ben & Jerry's. And I remember it was 65 pages. It was this giant monstrosity of a marketing plan that was for 12 to 18 months. And we even, at Forum, we still build marketing plans for clients to help set the tone for what we're going to do and when. It also helps us plan for the year and give them direction, especially for businesses that may not have ever had a marketing plan. It's really a mainstay in how all marketers do business. And marketing decks typically have month-by-month timelines. They have budget forecasts with decimal precision. Campaign calendars built out for the next 12 months. Those are all bits and pieces of what you would have in a standard marketing plan. It all looks tight. There's a lot of work in it, but it seems doable. But here's the truth. The moment reality hits, those plans start to bleed. Platform changes its algorithm. Competitor drops a surprise offer. Trend starts out of nowhere. Your product roadmap shifts. Engineering can't actually finish a project or a new product in time for a launch. So now what do? If you're too attached to your plan, you stall, you panic, or worse, you ship something that actually doesn't even work or doesn't fit the moment. Agile marketers, they pivot with purpose. They adapt fast. Now, I don't want you to misunderstand that. I'm not saying you chase every shiny toy or you chase every opportunity that presents itself. What I am saying is that responding to change means staying aligned to your mission, but adjusting your tactics like a boxer would in a ring. So when someone throws a right hook, you need to know how to dodge it and make your next move. Here's the difference, right? So reacting is knee-jerk. It's chaotic. It's trend hopping without strategy. It's not well thought through. It's not good policy. Responding to change is intentional. It's informed. It's fast. It's focused. Think of your strategy, your marketing strategy like a GPS. You know the destination, but if traffic hits or a road closes, you reroute. You don't just sit there and hope the jam clears. Same thing in marketing. Agile teams don't cling to the map. They keep moving toward a mission. So we know that the market shifts fast. Just this year, we've seen tariffs and more tariffs, then pause tariffs, and stronger tariffs, and reduced tariffs. All the tariffs. And that was in like a 30 to 45-day period. Attention moves faster. Here in Georgia, the news cycle has been Georgia tax rebates, then tariffs, then the American Pope, right? And then an earthquake the day before Mother's Day. The average person on social media has an attention span of less than 7 seconds. So if your team can't adjust to what's happening, you're toast. So this is what responsiveness gives you. Right, number one, relevance. It makes you relevant. You can stay aligned with what your audience actually cares about right now. If it's a rainy season in here in Georgia, can you adapt to make sure that you're talking about it? I used to have clients that would run advertisements on the Weather Channel, and you could actually advertise based on the type of weather that was happening outside. And it was all automated, right, driven through their system, and now I'm sure it's driven through AI. Number two, efficiency. You stop wasting time polishing campaigns that lost their edge 2 weeks ago. You don't promote things that don't work anymore. If you had a special offer and it worked really well, then it stopped, and you need to do something else. So that's change. Even though you may have planned for that special offer to be throughout the year, maybe we get rid of it entirely. Third is momentum. You learn by doing, not by debating. You ship, you adapt, you move. right? We create momentum that moves us forward. So let's be real for a second. Customers don't care how perfect you followed your Q2 plan. They don't care about your second quarter. They don't care about what you had planned, the creative you may have already developed, the videos you may have already done. They care whether or not you're actually delivering value. So we have to learn to move in quick iterations. In Agile teams work in short cycles. They call those sprints. You also may hear experiments or feedback loops. The term sprint is key in Agile marketing. Really what it is, it's a short time period before you analyze again. So you're going to move fast. You're going to make some informed adjustments without burning the house down because you planned that way. Here's the rhythm of that. You build a small campaign. You ship it out quickly. You watch what happens. You adjust, and then you repeat. That tight loop, that tight feedback loop turns change into fuel where you're improving every time you do something. Because now every shift in the market becomes a chance to learn rather than a reason to panic. So we have a client right now who wants to attempt to use an AI avatar as their spokesperson. I didn't have that in my bingo card, but will it be effective? I don't know. We don't know until we try. And if it doesn't work, we'll try again. And if that doesn't work, we will do something else. The world's not static, right? We can make changes. Static plans typically want certainty. Agile marketers want information. In change, that's where all the best information lives. That's where we learn. So we can't ignore, though, the human side of all this. You may remember last week I talked about how people hated losing control. The same applies here. People hate letting go of their marketing plans. Plans are safe. It creates check boxes on tasks. You can mark things off as you do them. They feel done. They give you something to cling to in all of the chaos. But here's the thing. Marketing doesn't happen in a vacuum. I wish it did. But marketing actually happens in a live, unpredictable, incredibly competitive world. And teams that are too in love with their plan, they get slow, defensive, fragile, and die. And I'll also tell you from my experience in a recessionary market, I'm not saying we are in one, but let's say that we could be, or even one that seems like we could be headed that direction where things are a little slower. Agility is key. Brands that can shift fast and focus are the ones that win. I know on this podcast I say a whole lot of words, I say a lot of things, and I'm not presenting anything that's earth-shattering. A lot of the topics we cover are things that are already out in the market. You may just not have heard them yet. But it's real. From my experience in the past, I can tell you that the brands that always fight for the wins are the ones that win. So many times, I've seen brands stick to a plan because it's what they've always done, or they'll stick to a plan that's worked in the past, and everything around them's changing. And so they forget that the past actually guides the future. We have to learn from the past, sure, but it doesn't perfectly predict what's going to happen. That's why we have to change as things change, right? We always talk about not wanting to repeat our past. Well, the way that you don't repeat your past is to learn from it. I mentioned before that we have a client exploring AI. Even within our own agency here at Forum, we've had a lot of hard conversations about deciding how that's going to work for us. It's really hard to say we're excited about replacing real people with AI or replacing some of the things that we're so used to creating with artificial intelligence. But the market is changing. If I were to have said that this particular client would have asked us for an AI spokesperson this year, I would have not put money on that. That would not have been a bet I would have taken. Could it be the right direction for them right now? Sure, it could be. So we can't just always stick to what we know. The Agile mindset has to say, we're going to make a plan. We're not married to it, but we're married to the mission. We're married to our goals, and we're going to do whatever it takes to serve the customer better or to meet that goal. That's real agility. Not just changing for the sake of it, but changing because what worked yesterday might not work today. All right, so you know what time it is. The past few episodes, we've started doing this new challenge, and this one is a little personal. So what I'd like for you to do this week, first, pull up your current campaign plan or your current marketing plan, your roadmap, whatever that might be. And I want you to find one element where you're sticking to the plan out of habit. Not because it's the best thing that you could do, but it's just something you're used to doing. And then I want you to pressure test it. I want you to ask, if we had to change this today to better serve our audience, our community, our customers, what would we do differently? Now, actually do that thing, even if it's a small change. Actually implement that. And I want you to practice planned adaptability. That's really how Agile teams become dangerous. All right, so before we continue our journey in Agile, we're going to take a sidestep with a bonus episode next week on the topic of Instagram. There are a lot of recent changes that have happened over the past 6 to 8 months that I think will affect your social media strategy. We're going to cover that, and then we're going to come back to Agile marketing with a deep dive on what it really takes to bring Agile marketing into a slow organization. We're going to talk about the people that block things, how to gather buy-in, the back channels. You don't want to miss that one. And then we'll go through the remainder of the principles of Agile. So until then, I'm Nick. This is Sneakers and Strategies. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with me. If you're enjoying the podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, support the podcast, connect with me personally on LinkedIn. And we'll see you on next week's bonus episode with more ways to stay a step ahead of your competition.